big flying changes, smarter copper golems, and much more. Hello there, Ray here. We got a brand new snapshot for the Java edition. This is going to be for the upcoming 1.21.9 update, which will probably come out sometime next month. Let's take a look at everything that came out with the 25W, 37A, and make sure to hit that like button. Copper golems can now pathfind through really small gaps, such as like between these two fences here. And they also reduced their width of their hitbox. Now it's only 0.49 meters wide, so less than half a block. So I'll have to see how this changes my super simple automatic storage system using copper golems and a little bit of redstone to actually store every single item to their own chest. So far with recent tests, it has been working great. But make sure you're still subscribed so you don't miss out when I do a tutorial vid on it. They also updated so the copper golems can open up doors similar to villagers. There he comes, just opens up the door and passes fine right through it. They also fixed a few things related to copper golems, like copper golems will no longer open up chests if there's a solid block above it. And when copper golems search chests, they will no longer be floating in the air. Instead, they will fall. It was really funny, but yeah, it didn't really make much sense. Guys, look at this. The copper golem item that I put on top of this guy's head, it used to be really big, and now you can see it's look like a little teeny little guy. It's like he's carrying his little baby on top of its head or something. It's really cute. With this upcoming version, you can now find zombies that have copper armor on them, just like you can find all the other types of armor. The problem was, when it came to the copper armor, there was a way higher chance of them actually having it on than what it should be. And it also, in turn, reduced the amount of chance of getting stuff like gold, iron, diamond, and chain by a lot. So they went ahead and changed it so that it doesn't reduce the chance of getting the other types as much. But it still reduces it a little bit, so it's still easier to get like a full diamond, zombie, or skeleton before updating to 1.21.9. And if you enjoyed collecting different types of rares, make sure to check out my playlist about all the different rares throughout all the different versions of Minecraft, which I'll have linked in the description. Now it is possible to keep redstone lit permanently when striking one of the oxidized versions of the lightning rod. Normally the lightning rod, when it gets struck, it'll produce power, and then after a little while it will remove power. But even though it did remove power, all the redstone attached to it would be permanently stayed on. So now we'll update the redstone like normal. It's now easier to know how you're adjusting your music and stuff with the slider options here, because they added so they have now a preview of each of them. So let's go ahead and try it out. We'll adjust the music one. You can hear the music right away. That way you don't have to wait for the actual music to kick in. You can hear exactly how it's going to sound. Let's try the jukebox. Oh, nice. You can hear how loud it's going to be. Otherwise, what you do is you'll turn it up and then you'll have to wait until the jukebox plays. Oh, it's too quiet or too loud. You have to adjust it again. This is really nice. Especially for me, because when I make videos, I try to get my audio not too loud or not too quiet, otherwise people will complain. Let's hear the hostile mobs. Oh, nice. The only thing is, like, you can't really use hostile mobs, because if there's tons of these guys, they'll get super, super loud. Even though one guy might sound okay, a whole bunch of guys will sound super annoying. So, still gotta kind of adjust that, depending on how many there is in the area. Oh, here's the lightning. Oh, that is nice. Okay. Try blocks. I usually try to keep my blocks up pretty loud because they sound cool. Makes it sound very Minecrafty. Players can sometimes be really annoying, especially when they shoot off fireworks, which I think is actually this one. I don't hear any noise for this one. Here's friendly mobs. Oh, it's a cow. Oh. Okay. Narrator? I don't sound like there's anything for that one. UI. This is just the clicking noise. How loud do you like your clicking noise? That's a clicking of a clicking noise. So it's me clicking to adjust it, but then it also playing a clicking noise. I think that's a little bit redundant. Okay, wow. I really like that. Personally, I wish they would come in with more options for the audio, because some things are still really loud. Like, you know, droppers and dispensers clicking can be really loud, especially if tons of them are tons of pistons. Or something like explosions. For some reason, some of that stuff just gets absurdly loud really quickly. So I have to constantly be changing my audio levels throughout recording. If only there was like some way to just make it so the audio levels will automatically adjust depending on how loud it is, so it's never too loud or quiet. And in your resource pack, there's now a search bar if you're searching for something. This would be nice for people that have tons of different resource packs. Looking for quiet, you see the resource packs which are used in order to make stuff quiet, like explosions, minecarts, and redstone. They actually fixed one of the bugs that I reported. This is if you're in creative mode and then you turn it to spectator mode while you're touching the ground, and then you fly up in the air, and then you switch back to creative mode. You used to just stay in the air, but then now you just immediately fall. But with it, they changed the way the player switches between creative and spectator mode. And it turns out that bug that they fixed that I noticed was actually something that they were intentionally trying to do, because they're trying to change the whole way when it comes to creative and spectator switching, and if the player should be floating in the air or if they should fall using gravity. The new changes is if you're touching the ground and then you switch to spectator, fly up in the air and switch back, you're going to stay up in the air. That's a good part. But they made it so that if you are hovering above the ground and you switch to spectator mode and then switch back to creative, you're going to snap and fall as if gravity is pulling you down. And now I can't just jump and go up into the air. I have to double tap again. And I personally do not like this because I hate double tapping. I actually hate it so much that I will actually switch to spectator mode, fly around, and then switch back to creative, so I don't have to double tap in order to get into fly mode in creative. Now the main thing that this affects is that if you're flying near any block, but it also includes any entity that you could collide with, like a boat or a happy gas, and if you're a meter above any of these things and you switch into spectator mode and back again, you're going to snap to the ground, which I know I'm going to find really annoying compared to before, because then I have to double tap to get back off of the ground again. But they do say that if you happen to spectate inside of a block and then you switch into creative, you're not going to snap to the ground, you're going to stay floated, that way you don't clip and fall all the way through in case the ground is hollow. But the weird thing is they didn't really explain why they wanted this. They just said they wanted this to happen for people to snap to the ground when they're close to it. But it would be nice if they would explain why they want this. In Bedrock Edition, it is a little bit different, where the player actually does completely opposite, where the creative player never snaps to the ground. So I don't know if they're going to change Bedrock Edition too. I know it's going to be a really big change for Bedrock Edition if they happen to put this in it. But yeah, if you guys ever use this, let me know what you think of this change. I know I'm not going to like this at all, because it just doesn't make any sense for me to touch the ground if I didn't touch the ground to start with. Like if I want to touch the ground, I would just push downwards. They fix a bug related to projectiles. If they get shot really fast, they're supposed to check every block that they zoom through in case they need to interact with something, such as like a portal that needs to teleport them. But it wasn't working as good as it should have been, so they made some updates to it. Hopefully this fixes the bug we've been running into related to pearls going through the nether portals. And then once they get to the other side, they completely lose their forward momentum, and then they just drop to the ground, which is so strange, and I'll put the bug report in the description. But if fixed, then we can use my pearl launcher to launch pearls not only in the overworld, but also through the nether really efficiently. They added in a new game rule related to monster spawners. It's called spawner blocks enabled. By default, it's set to true, meaning that these spawner blocks will spawn in mobs. But in the past, in order to stop these from spawning mobs, you'd have to set the difficulty to peaceful or set the mob spawning to false. But now you no longer have to do that. You can just change this rule to false, and this will just stop spawners from spawning mobs. But when it comes to other natural spawning mobs, they can still do it. This will be great for map makers, as you have more control on when you can turn on and off the monster spawners. They also changed the game rule, which was called enabled command blocks, and renamed it to command blocks enabled. This makes it a bit easier to find, as if you type in the word enable, only the ender pearl thing shows up. But when you start typing a command, you can see all the command block related things, which makes it a lot easier to find. Now the program which is used in order to render 2D as well as 3D vector graphics in the game, which is known as OpenGL, got updated from 3.2 to 3.3. Now despite this upgrade, they said this is not going to affect the playing of the game, so the requirements for your computer, it shouldn't be noticeable. And they do remark that even 3.3 is 15 years old already. They updated the lighting on different models. This includes stuff like armor worn, elytras, outside layers of player skins, rib cages of skeletons and skeleton horses, the feet of chicken and frogs, wing of phantoms and dragons, and fins of fish, and much more. Pretty much anything that's thin, the lighting is now going to be lit from that direction rather than always being lit from underneath. And Fisk, one of the Mojang devs, actually posted an example of it. You can see like underneath this helmet here, how it's really bright, and then here it's darker. And there's slight lighting changes when it comes to like the skeleton being super bright inside the head versus being darker. Now in previous Snapshot, we've seen them come out with an API related to Minecraft server management. We went ahead and made some adjustments to this, such as your client has to be authenticated before using the API, and also giving several different ways on how you can add in the password. They also made some changes to the server properties. These are the things that the server uses every time it's running, with all of them related to management. They reintroduced some debug features. These have to be enabled with the JVM properties, which I believe is this here. And these are different things you can write in order to turn it on. And this will get you a list of all available debug properties. They do warn it says, handle these with extreme care. This is advanced features meant for helping modders and is not used for normal play. It also says it's not guaranteed to work as intended. It might crash and corrupt your worlds. Oh dang, that's scary. And they might come in and remove and add options without notice. But essentially these debug features will just kind of let players know what's going on behind the scenes in Minecraft. That way they can adjust their mod in case it's like causing problems. Minecraft also came out with a bunch of fixes related to the last couple of snapshots where they accidentally messed up the visuals for a wide variety of things that you see in the game, as well as fix some more technical bugs, which did include fixes for the conduit as well as the look of the inventory, but both of these were just them fixing visual bugs related to the visual look that just recently came up. And every time a new snapshot comes out, we hop on over here to the testing server of mine and try out playing around with all the new features. I'll be having a lot of fun today, so check me out over at my live stream. These are the days I play. And don't forget, you guys can get your very own Minecraft servers with a big discount just by using my code RAY with Bisect Hosting. They ran my servers for over a decade, and I really appreciate everyone who's used the code in the past. As always, I'll see you guys over there. Bye-bye!